I am very excited to bring this to you. Welcome to everyone who is joining us for our session today. This is the very first installment in our live series. Every Tuesday we'll be coming to you about 1:30 to bring you a brand new team building idea. And the purpose of doing these 52 weeks is because I want to bring you something that is practical, and it's an exercise that you can take and provide immediately to your team and help kind of instill that sense of play. And I thought, what better way to kick this off than with the brand new year being January and coming along with our New Year's resolutions. Today, we are going to be discussing the declaration of play. So thank you again to everyone for joining. I believe it is 1:30 on the dot. So I believe in getting started punctually whenever I do a meeting or even a conference call. So let's follow the same plan, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, before we get into the declaration of play, let me remind you that when I'm talking about team building, a lot of people think of team building and work, like they go hand in hand. And it's true, it's not false. That's definitely part of your work group. And team building is so essential at work because you're coming together with a bunch of people that you didn't necessarily choose or have an opportunity to put input in with. And so you're melding a lot of different personalities and backgrounds, and you're all supposed to be there for the same purpose, so the same driving purpose. And I think if you think about a lot of other things in your life, those situations exist as well. Your family, we always say we don't choose our family, but our families happen to be some of our biggest and most prominent teams that we will have in our entire lives. So all of these tools can be used not only with your work team, but I think you can use these with your family and at home. Those family that you choose or your play team, aka your friends. This is also an excellent exercise to play with your friends. And you can do it with a volunteer team. You know, if you're doing something at church or in your community, if you're going to be on one of those rodeo committees coming up soon, I hear there's drama. This is also an excellent opportunity for you to use some of these team building exercises with those groups. So if you are here joining us live, please just throw out a comment, say hi, tell me that you're here live. If you catch it on the replay, that's a-okay. It's 1:30, it's Tuesday. Some of you guys might be at work, some of you might be busy, no problem. Just type in replay so I know when you caught it. And most importantly, when you practice these team building exercises with your family team, your work team, your church team, whatever it might be, please send me some feedback, drop me a comment, or you can send me an email at beth@creativelearningsociety.com if you have some other questions, and I'd be happy to speak with you. So without further delay, let's talk about the declaration of play. So this week, our team building tool from our toolbox is the declaration of play. And when I talk about that, it's a way for you to open the conversation with your team at work and introduce this theory of play. Because when adults think about play, unfortunately, we're thinking about playing with our kids, or you think that play is meant for children, or it's supposed to be contained on the playground. And as we grow up, we don't play as much. So that's just not true. And playing is even more important, or just as important as you become an adult as it is when you're a child. So the declaration of play is a great way to introduce this theory to your team. And the declaration of play is simple. Think of New Year's resolution, but this one has to do with play. So you're going to sit down and talk to your team about how you can introduce play into your everyday functions. Ooh, let's knock my computer over. Into your everyday functions, or even into your weekly functions or weekly meetings. If you have a family night, how are you going to introduce it and what does it mean to them? And for me, when I think about play, it's about finding a way to energize, a way to engage people. It's a way to get people to focus and sometimes just to cut loose and have a little bit of fun and get to know each other. So that's what I mean when I say play. Because think about when you're actively playing a game. All of a sudden, if you're involved in a game, you become very aware of your surroundings. You stop what you're doing and usually pay attention to what's happening in the game or the instructions around the game. And you start paying more attention to other people around you as well as to yourself. So it's something that will automatically engage you in what's happening, and it will help you focus. If done well, you can also energize yourself. It can provide a way for everyone in your team to de-stress and really just kind of take a moment of zen, so to speak. So play has a huge role in helping us be happier and better functioning people. So the declaration of play, which is a worksheet, and all of I know it's really hard to see right here, but all of the tools that I discussed today will be available on my website. In fact, this one is already available on my website, and I posted it with a link to my Facebook page a little bit earlier if somebody wanted to print it and use it as we follow along. But when you introduce to your team and you tell them, hey, I want us to think about how we can play a little bit more this year, you can use this worksheet to help formulate that. Because at the top of the worksheet, it simply says, this year I will seek to better myself and those around me by utilizing the practice of play. I recognize that play is not reserved for kids or the playground. It's for everyone. Play has the power to engage, energize, create focus, reduce stress, and make the mundane fun again. And below are some ways I will practice play in 2020. So think of this as your play New Year's resolution. And the worksheet gives different scenarios. So first, under stress, it says, when I am feeling stressed, I will blank, blank, blank. So for example, if you were talking about creating play, if I was filling this out, when I am feeling stressed, I will take a dance break. And it's true. Ask anyone I've worked with in the past or anyone who spent a significant amount of time around me. Out of nowhere, I will just bust out and start dancing. And it just makes me feel better to do something silly, especially when I get stressed about something. The other thing I love to do is to take a walk. I want to get out of my surroundings and go do something else, go to another place. So that's one way I would bring play for myself if I'm feeling stressed. Now the next line of the worksheet says, if my team is feeling stressed, I would blank, blank, blank. And I'll tell you, I would challenge them to a dance battle, or I would just turn up the radio and say, dance or sing with me. Ask some of the teams I've worked with in the past, when things got a little hanky at work, what did I do? Put on some Tina Turner, grab some office supplies. All of a sudden, my marker became a microphone. And I would grab everybody and encourage them to dance and sing with me and act a little silly. Because that was my way of bringing some play into a situation to reduce some stress. Now, if they don't want to dance around, that's okay. Maybe they like to tell a joke. Maybe they want to go out and take a walk instead of walking by themselves. They see a coworker is stressed, they can invite a coworker to come with them. And by doing something as simple as that, they're introducing play into your culture. And the more you practice this with your team, the more you will develop a culture of play and everybody will get more engaged. So it gives you additional scenarios. So if you need to energize yourself, when I feel I need to be energized or motivated, I would blank. Well, for me, if I need to feel energized or motivated, I might go play trash can basketball, right? I might just create a game out of nowhere. I might hop over to my friend or my family member and say, hey, can we have a real quick brainstorming and do something silly? Anything that I can do to take my mind off of what I'm doing and kind of refocus it with something funny is what I like to do when I need to be energized or motivated to get something done. I love watching funny videos on YouTube, usually related to a cat or a dog. So if you ask my husband, he probably likes to watch somebody hurt themselves. Maybe you like that too. But if that releases some stress and helps you feel a little bit more energized or motivated to get something done, that's how you play. And you would follow suit the same for your team. When I see my team needs to be energized or motivated, I would ... So if I saw that my team needed to be energized or motivated, a lot of the times I would go grab them some ice cream or run to Sonic and bring them back something to drink, saying, here guys, have a break on me. Kit Kats work perfectly. Give me a break. So give them a break. Give them something that speaks to them, that might make them happy, that is accessible and easy for you to do. Focus and engagement. So how do you bring or use play to create focus and engagement? So one of these things, the second one, which is what would I do if I needed to bring focus and engagement to my team? And some of you might think this is silly, but before I start a meeting, and that could be, you could be walking into the conference room to have a board meeting with somebody. It could be sitting down and having a family meeting. Play a game. Mad Libs is an excellent example of a game that you can play. One, if you're playing a game, you're going to stop everybody from doing what they were currently doing. Whether they're checking their email, whether their mind is just somewhere else, you're asking them to participate and be engaged. And who doesn't want to play a game? Even just the question, just the offer. Hey, I'm extending you an offer. Play a game with me, please. That is enough to have somebody disassociate from what they were thinking about and were doing and make them present and bring them into the room. So a quick 5-10 minute game of Mad Libs around a conference room table or around the dinner table could actually provide a lot of focus for everybody around you. And it could bring them into the room and get them to be part of what you're trying to get them to be part of. It's an excellent way to engage people and get them focused on your meeting. Once you're done with the Mad Lib, you've got them and you can move on. It's a great way. I cannot stress it enough how much I've done it in the past. And you can really see the shift from where people were, not physically, but mentally, before you began the meeting to where you are after you complete that game. So again, another way for you to bring play into your culture and help engage and focus, de-stress, and just entertain people. Give them something to be appreciated for. Give them something just to relax and go, oh, that was fun. And the last one is my favorite because it is just for fun. Finding ways to use play at work, at home, at your volunteer group, just for fun. It's okay to take a break and be silly. And this worksheet is going to ask your team to say, okay, when I want to have fun, this is what I want to do. And listen to what they say. Now, you want to make sure that they work it into a practical sense. We can't jump and take a cruise. I mean, that would be wonderful, but we want to make sure that these are very practical and accessible things that they can actively do either for themselves or for someone else on their team to help initiate fun. So I mentioned trash can basketball before. Why not put a kids basketball hoop in the break room? Why not challenge somebody to a lunchtime tournament just for fun? Why not throw some cards or a game board down and create an ongoing challenge or tournament? Every Tuesday in March, we are playing checkers and so on and so forth. Instead of March Madness, you can have your own version of March Madness with checkers. And you make heats in different teams, and then you have a championship at the end of March. No, it doesn't necessarily have anything connected to do with your work or your purpose for your team. So whether your team be your family, if you're working on a project together or you're going on vacation, whether it's a work team and you've got your common goals, things that you're always trying to reach, because every month, those goals change. Every year, you have a new strategic plan. Even if you're doing something that seems fun and doesn't really seem related to those goals, sometimes it's okay to break away and just become energized and enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the company of those around you. One of the most important pieces of building a team is building a foundation of trust, and that is absolutely built on building strong relationships with the people that form your team. If you never stop to enjoy each other's company or have fun with each other, you are not going to be able to get to know them and build a relationship. And without those relationships, you can't build trust, and your team is never going to be where you need it or where you want it to be. So it's okay sometimes to just break away and have fun. Now, if you have a meeting and you introduce this worksheet to your team, here's my suggestion. Don't have them fill it out in front of you. Don't give them a strict, I need this back in 24 hours, any kind of deadline. Give them a flexible deadline that works with them. This is something that's probably not to 75, 80% of the people that you're talking with. This is something that is not familiar, and it might feel a little bit uncomfortable for them to complete. They might actually go home and talk to people. They might talk to friends. They might talk to other coworkers, other family members, other volunteer members about what this meeting talked about, what play is. They might say, I'm not exactly sure what I need to do here. Give them time. Give them a week. Give them 3 to 5 days, whatever you think is right. But give them a little bit of time to think about this, really digest the information, pardon me, and then fill out this worksheet. And when they fill it out, give them a place to post it. So whether this be a bulletin board, so everybody posts theirs in the same place, whether everybody posts it on the door to their office or the door to their bedroom, whether you post it online, maybe they all take photos and you post it in a Facebook group and you do it online. However you choose to post, it's important that these worksheets do get put up somewhere in the public eye. And here's a couple of reasons why. It's going to build, number one, accountability. So if I say I'm going to do something, like every time I get stressed, I'm going to take a dance break. If I put that up on the wall, then there's some accountability to myself to take care of me and to live up to my declaration of play, because if I'm really stressed, I need to take a dance break. 2, it will help your team members around you see what you may not be seeing. They are going to help hold you accountable. They're going to come up to you and say, oh, geez, Beth, you are stressed out. You need a dance break because you're turning into a monster right now. And they will help you keep up with your declaration. It's like a New Year's resolution, but it has more to do with taking care of yourself and taking care of others in a very different way, including play, right? So post it so there's accountability that's created for yourself and accountability by others. I would encourage you not to have a meeting where you discuss what everyone has written and allow people to give feedback. And really the only reason for that is when you're introducing a new topic like this, which is a little bit foreign because you have people coming from different backgrounds into every meeting you've ever had. And I'm going to think on a work scenario. In a work scenario, and possibly at home and at your volunteers, but in a work scenario for sure, you probably have a person or two, maybe more, depending on the size of your team, sitting in that room that is thinking, is this going to be another glorious waste of my time? I have a lot of work to do. So could we just get on with it? You're going to have somebody who is over enthusiastic about it. Oh my God, I love it, I can't wait to do it. You're going to have people who are very skeptical, like, what is this? I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds really odd to me. Not interested, right? You're going to have people coming at this from all different angles. And if you schedule your follow-up meeting the next week and say, hey, let's talk about this, you're putting people in an uncomfortable situation to receive feedback from their peers on something that is a brand new concept to them. And I would say when you're working on building team, going back to that trust, unless you've got a really, really strong team and you've had a chance to build that foundation, I would not discuss this in an open forum because it opens people to outside criticism, or even if it's constructive criticism, it opens them and puts them in a vulnerable state that will most likely hinder all of this. So give them somewhere to post it publicly to create accountability for themselves and for them to see what other people have said and done. You can allow them to amend it maybe once or twice a year if they want to try something different. But at this point, because play is going to be new, most likely to everybody involved, just post it and let's see what happens. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised what some of the suggestions are, and it will give you a lot of insight into the people that you are teamed up with, how they tick, what makes them happy, what helps them de-stress, and then in the end, it helps you know how to be a better team member or a better leader to them, right? So this is a quick, maybe 15-minute meeting and chat about play. Keep it light, keep it fun, and just see what people come up with. No one's asking anyone to stick to a diet, cut out carbs or sugar or protein or add 50 miles to your or 50,000 steps to your steps every day. This is something that should be fun and it should be fairly easy. So I want to see what happens when you introduce play to your team. You can find the Declaration of Play PDF form on my website, and I will put the link up here in the description. And you can just click that, go straight to my news. It's in my blog space. You can pull down that document and use it with your team. It has the definition of play and why we want to use play right there on the document. That should be everything that you need. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can comment right here on Facebook. This video will also be going up on LinkedIn. So if you're a LinkedIn member, if you're a LinkedIn member, you can find it there. And please follow my page on LinkedIn as well for professional networking. Message me there or email me if you have other questions. You can email me directly at beth@creativelearningsociety.com. Thank you so much for starting this journey of 52 weeks of team building with me. I hope you enjoyed today. If you didn't catch it live, you catch it on the replay, just drop me a note and let me know what you think. if it's something that you would do with your team or if you have questions. And I will see you next Tuesday for our second week and our second installment of 52 weeks of team building that don't suck. All right. I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye now.